everyone, this is Jackie Williams and welcome to the Stampin' Global Video Hop, and this month we are talking all about blending. And I wanted to do something just a little bit different and talk to you just for a moment before we do a project about blending your colors. It's very easy to sometimes blend certain colors together and actually end up with brown. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the theory behind which colors to blend together and which colors not to if you don't want to have them end up being brown. So let's go back to primary school just for a moment, and you'll want to know that our primary colors are blue, red, and yellow. And the principle is that if you blend all of these three colors together, you'll end up with brown. Then the next principle to know is that these are our primary colors again. We have blue, red, and yellow. And you may remember that if you mix red and yellow together, you get orange. Yellow and blue, you get green. Red and blue, you get purple. Therefore, it makes sense that if you mix these three primary colors together to get brown, that if you mix purple and yellow together, because purple is a mix of red and blue, that you're actually mixing all three primary colors together just in a different way, and you will end up with brown. So these colors that are across from each other on the wheel are called complementary colors, and they are very contrasting for a high impact look. But also now we know that if you mix them together, you'll end up with brown. So here's another chart that I found. I just found these on the internet. So basically, if you mix any of the complementary or opposing colors on the color wheel, you'll end up with varying shades of brown, of course, depending on the quantities and if there's any white or black or gray mixed in as well. So this may actually be what you want sometimes, but for the most part, when we're mixing our colors, when we're making our cards and things, we're not wanting browns. We're usually wanting kind of a soft gradated look or an ombre sort of look. It's helpful to remember the color wheel. It's basically the rainbow just arranged in a circle. So what we want to avoid is mixing any colors that are across from each other on the wheel, so that we don't end up with just a brown color. So for today's project, I'm going to use these three colors, and you can see by looking at the color wheel that we have a yellow, a green, and a blue, which are all next door to each other on the color wheel. So we should be able to mix them without any strange colors ending up in between them. If you have any questions on that, please leave them below. So what we're going to do is start with a piece of watercolor paper. And this is 5 1/8 inch by 3 3/4 inches. And I like to use the thick water painter. I'm actually going to get these open before I get started. And oops, not that far. What I have done is squeeze the bottom of the ink pad so I end up with a little bit of a pool of ink here in the lid, because we're not using the pad. We're actually going to use these little palettes here. And then I'm going to squeeze my aqua paint or my water painter, and I'm going to get my watercolor paper wet first. This is just going to help me move the color easily. So I'm going to start with my top color, my Bermuda Bay. And I'm still going to squeeze water as I go because I want it to be quite liquidy or quite watery so that it keeps moving. And I'm going to brush off the Bermuda Bay, and then I'm going to pick up some of the Granny Apple Green, and I'll move that across the bottom. You can go a little darker, maybe towards the bottom. Maybe we can do a little bit more Bermuda Bay across the top so we get kind of that light to dark look. And then through the middle, I'm going to do the bumblebee. And like I said, because they are next to each other on the color wheel, they should just kind of blend. I mean, you'll get sort of a different color where they mix, but nothing that is unattractive or doesn't work. Now I'm going to do one other little technique with these. While the ink is still wet or the paper's still wet, I'm going to just take some rock salt and sprinkle that over. And you might want to put an ink pad on either side so it sits down flat. And I'm going to just let that sit for a little while and absorb. And this will be the end result. You'll end up with some little speckles in through here. That's kind of an extra step. You don't have to do that. Or you could just take your water painter and just flick some water on it. And that will also create some speckles of diluted ink. But the rock salt technique's kind of fun too. I wanted to use the Under My Umbrella suite. This is just such a cute one that I haven't used as much as I would have liked, so I wanted to pull that out. Just some really fun little easy to color images, and it's got a punch, which is always quick and easy. But rather than coloring them, this time I've decided I'm just going to stamp them onto printed paper. So I've stamped the cute little boots onto some smoky slate designer series paper, and I've used my Stamp and Blend to color in the soles and the little trim across the top, and then just scissor cut those out. And then I have cut, or stamped, I should say, the umbrella onto Bermuda Bay printed paper, and I'm going to use my punch to punch that guy out. And then to create the handle for my umbrella, I also used the punch. I already did that just out of a piece of basic black. And I'll go ahead and adhere the boots on with just a little bit of tombow glue. I'll put that down here towards the bottom. I'm going to have them kind of coming off of my little watercolored frame. And then I'm going to put the handle on next. So I'm just going to put a little tombow on there. And I'm going to lean those up against the boots like they might be if they were sitting on the floor, the handle up against the boots. And then I am going to use dimensionals on the back of my umbrella just to add a little bit of 3D to this. And I'm going to be generous with my dimensionals because this paper is just paper. You could punch 2 umbrellas just to give it a little more strength and mat them together if you wanted. And then go ahead and place that onto the handle, and they might overlap those boots just a little bit. So it looks like there's a little pile of outdoor gear there. Then I'm going to use my StazOn ink and stamp my words. Now we're using StazOn because this has been wet, and just in case it's not absolutely perfectly bone dry, well, if I use Memento or any other water-based ink, the ink would actually run. But StazOn is like a sure thing. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's dry, but just to be absolutely positive, we'll use our StazOn. Okay, then from there, I'm just going to mount that up onto a basic black mat. So that would be 3 7/8 by 5 1/4 inch. And I'm going to put dimensionals on the back of this piece. And I'm going to mount that onto a pool party card base. Very happy looking card. And then inside, I've just done the same sizes of basic white, basic black, and then just a strip of either of those designer series papers, pulls it through, or you could stamp another umbrella as you wish. But now we do need a little bit of bling. And I pulled in the Artistry Bloom sequins. I like using these because they're self-adhesive. And I just have some bits left. So we've got the yellow ones, the pool party ones, and kind of the orange ones. And there are pink ones, but I have used all of them. So you just kind of look at how your colors came out. I don't think the orange really goes. The blue might be a little bit too much, same. Or I might do a mixture. But I quite like the yellow with these. And the nice thing too about these particular sequins is they have a few colors in them. So actually I don't like that. They can match with quite a few different things. And I just feel like the top of that umbrella needs something. So I've just added a little pearl there. And I've colored that in the black, or you could use a little gray marker for that one. Okay, and then before I did this video, I did another version, and this one is using more the Misty Moonlight and Highland Heather and Seaside Spray mixed in together. And then I did use the Hydrangea Hill papers to create more of a maybe a more mature card, a little more subdued looking card. This would be quite a nice card to send someone who's having a hard time. So I hope you enjoyed that and learned a little bit of something about color blending. Enjoy the rest of the hop, and please subscribe, and I hope you join us next time. Bye-bye.